Right. Good morning, Atalya.
Good
How,
morning.
how, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you. Listen, thank you so much for coming on uh, at 11 o'clock in the morning to try and help out the wider team and go through, a kind of a bit of an interview with myself. For those that are watching, we're broadcasting this video into the Sack the Boss Team Facebook group. So if you're in that group, you'll be able to see this content. If you do have team members and you maybe want them to be able to see this, because we're going to go through quite a lot with Italia, then, please invite them into the group. The group's there really just to help and support anyone that's in my organisation. We're all over the United Kingdom. We've even got partners who live abroad. Maybe you've got somebody in Germany, a couple of folk in Spain. So we're quite a widespread team. But look, we want to hear from Italia. So one of the things that I get asked most in utility warehouse is, how does Atalya Dixon do what she's doing? And to be honest, Italia, you and I haven't really met. We kind of very briefly met backstage at Amplify, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were just coming off having done your slot in front of thousands of people, and I was literally just about to go on stage for some recognition. So we literally got a quick 2 seconds high. Other than that, we've never really actually, spent any time together. So this will be good for me to learn as well. So Italia, let's go through. I've got a wee list here for folks. So if you've got team members, please invite them to watch this. You're going to learn a lot from Italia. So will I. So please make sure that your team see this. This is about helping our team get better, let them understand how to develop a really strong business. So first of all, Natalia, my first question is, what kind of network marketing experience do you currently have?
None. I haven't done anything like this before.
So have you been offered network marketing opportunities in the past?
I think everyone has really, haven't they? You get quite a few messages and stuff on Facebook, but I've never really took any of them up because it just
Right.
didn't interest me.
Didn't interest you. And when you saw this one, what made the change for you to maybe have a go at this?
That there is no like products that you need to sell to people because obviously when I joined, and still now, there's like a massive cost of living crisis and stuff. So I didn't think that obviously selling perfume or selling something on Facebook was going to work very well for me. So I obviously looked at UW and saw that the services that we sell most of the time are actually cheaper as well. So it's helping people, not selling them a product that they don't particularly need.
Yeah. That is our unique benefit, definitely. Oh, and I see there's folk. If you've got comments or you've got any questions that you want asked, I can see comments. Thanks for the comments. So, any questions, pop them in there. If we don't answer them in the live, Atalia will go through the comments afterwards and give you any feedback. So, feel free to ask any questions. Uh, right. So, how do you motivate yourself? One thing I find with this kind of business is because we're not turning up to a place of work. We don't need to start at 9. We don't need to finish at 5. There's nobody hanging over us telling us what to do. So for
Yeah.
some people, it can be a challenge to kind of stay on track. I certainly still find that today, and definitely found that in my earlier days. So how do you motivate yourself to stay focused?
I think I just keep it probably won't work for everyone because it may seem obviously like big steps when you're looking at the ladder, but I am constantly looking at the ladder and seeing what I need for my next promotion. And obviously when sometimes your promotions are really, they look really really far away, but then I'll look on my team list and I'll see what these my team need for their next promotions, and in the process of helping them get theirs, you're also working towards yours. So I think that's what motivates me, is the fact that I'm helping other people, but it's also helping me at the same time.
Right. So you straight away from day one, you're very much team focused. It sounds to me as if you're almost the giver's gain principle, which was what the BNI networking. You're focused on giving to the team first, help them get the wins they need, and you default win at the back of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's a great way to do it. Because our team is our business. If we don't have a good, solid team and we're not looking after our team, we don't really have a business. So, okay, next one. What's your daily method of operation? And for those who don't know what that means, it's like what's the first thing you do every day? Have you got like a set process of things you try and do so that you're kind of ticking boxes every day to make sure you're running your business right?
So the first thing that I tend to do is we've got like a team group chat. So I tend to check in on there, make sure everyone's okay, just say like good morning or whatever. And then I will go to my portal. I will see obviously everyone what they've achieved the day before, what they need to achieve their next thing, and I'll message them all individually, and I'll try and obviously speak, because some people, even though it's in front of you on your portal, some people don't understand what they actually need to do to get to their next kind of hurdle to get through it. So I tend to go and look through that and try and help people as much as I can with knowing what to do next, kind of thing.
So helping them with their planning.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point, because the portal is quite busy.
Yeah.
It's a very busy place, and if you don't know exactly where to go and look, then it can be difficult. So there's plenty of folk watching. Can I just ask if you give us a hi or let us know whereabouts in the UK you're from, or even just put replay in the comment. Sorry, if you're watching this later on, because some folk will be at work right now. When you do watch this later on tonight, if you just put replay in the comments, it helps rank the posts so that more people see the video. So we're really helping all our teams by commenting the thread. And if you even just say, as I say, where you're from, because with the team being UK wide, it's always nice to know what cities we're based in now, because we might have started as a Glasgow team, but now Atalya, you're part of the Purple Dragons, which is obviously a team that started in Wales. Still part of Sack the Boss as well, but we're all essentially one big team, Utility Warehouse, with regardless of the team name. But yeah, just let us know where you're from. There's Cumbria. Wow, Renfrew. Hey, hi Mark. I still need to meet up with you for lunch, Mark. I keep forgetting about that. Right. When new team members start your business, so if you personally recruit somebody, do you do a fast start plan with them?
I obviously inform them of what they need. I mainly, when they join, I try and start them towards their QD star, because obviously the £500 bonus is something that they are going to be motivated for. Well, a lot of people are motivated for the bonuses and the money kind of thing. So when someone first joins, I will speak them. Sorry, that's my daughter picking more.
Oh, that's fine. Don't worry.
Yeah, so when they first join, I will explain the QD star and how they can get to that. And I don't really, if they ask, I will show them obviously what comes after that. But to begin with, so I don't overwhelm anyone, I do just try and work on getting them to QD star and explain all of that, rather than showing them the whole ladder straight away.
Right. So you're small steps, focus on a quick win financially, help them build some belief, because once you see money starting to hit the bank is when belief builds. So just small steps for you.
Yeah, I think it works better for people, because obviously if you're explaining it too much at once, some people do get a bit overwhelmed with it, and they think that it's obviously miles away to get where they want to be.
Yeah. And when it comes to building a contact list for them to go and approach, what kind of things do you do there?
I always say, so when they first join and they've done their training, they've done their ID, the first thing that I will explain to them is to message their close friends and family, or give them a call, and if they ask obviously who that is, I always say people that you'd normally talk to, people in your family, and then after they've done that, we'll expand to more of an audience. It's just so that obviously they're not messaging too many people at once and they're not getting overwhelmed again.
Right. Okay. I'm just ticking off these questions as we go. Right. So when you're running your business, do you get people who kind of, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, that, the next thing, and they join, and then you ask them to go and do a couple of minimal tasks, and they say, yep, no bother, I'll go and do that, and then within a couple of days, maybe a week or so, you're almost not getting the phone answered to them, or they've maybe just decided this isn't for you, or they've just vanished. They've become a 007 secret agent, and
Yeah.
they're lost.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. To be fair, you get more recruits that do nothing than I get that do something. But the way I look at it is, there's been a lot of my team who have recruited a couple of people, and those couple of people don't do anything, and then my teamie will be like, oh well, I can't do recruiting because my recruits don't do anything. And it's like, no, the ones that you've got don't do anything, but there is plenty more out there. And you just need to look at it as you're just sifting through them. You're just trying to find the ones that actually do want to put in the effort and build. So you do need to keep consistent and keep recruiting.
Recruiting, yeah. And I just wanted to check, because when we see what you're doing, one of the fastest growing partners I've ever seen in my 13 year of doing utility warehouse. As I mentioned, it took me 18 months to get to team leader. So I was a little bit wet behind the ears when I started doing this. But I just wanted to check that, because sometimes folk maybe look at you and think, oh my God, everyone that Atalya speaks to turns to gold.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. No.
So you're just maybe having more conversations.
Yeah. Mine is mainly social media based. So there is obviously, on social media, you can reach a lot more people than you can that you speak to in real life. Well, in my situation anyway. So my posts obviously reach more and more people, and there is a lot of them that I've got on my team that do nothing. But then obviously I am finding golden nuggets who do something. So in a way, you're not really wasting your time by helping the people that aren't doing anything, because it's reaching you to people that will.
Right. And I just wrote down beside here, do you get peeps joining quick? You said yes. The next question is, do you get more yeses or no's? You've actually said you get more no's, so you actually get more rejection. That strangely makes me feel better, because I get lots of rejection. And to know that you're getting the same as me just kind of makes me feel, right, okay, I'm not doing it wrong. It's just that's the way it is. How do you handle that rejection though? Because it can be frustrating when somebody kind of tells you one thing but maybe does something different, or you believe in somebody more than they actually believe in themselves.
I don't really know, to be fair. We've obviously got a group chat, so with people that don't want to do anything for themselves, I kind of think of it in my head as, it's your loss kind of thing. Because within this business, there is potential to grow really far, and you can earn a lot of money, as well as time freedom, financial freedom, things like that. So I just look at it as it's their loss. If they're not wanting to do anything, that's completely fine. I'm not going to push anyone. I'm not going to make a business for them. That's just how it is, really.
Right. So you're overall, this sounds like a very much the law of averages approach that you're taking, whereby you sense, like up in Scotland, we would say, excuse the swear words, we're like, you need to throw enough shit at the wall and some of it will stick.
Yeah.
And that kind of principle applies in various industries, and it kind of applies in network marketing. You need to speak to lots of people, blah, blah, blah. So look, just for the folk that maybe are never really understood law of averages, I've got a short video I'm going to share into this live, just so as folk can get their head around what the law of averages is. Because once you understand the law of averages, once you use it as a crutch in building your business, nothing will stop you. So it's about 4 minutes long. If you were at the Glasgow Buzz recently, I played this at the Buzz, but I know a lot of people watching this are across the UK, so this might help them. So here we go.
One of the first real jobs that I ever had was doing door-to-door sales. The pay was strictly commission, so it was entirely possible to spend 60 hours working in a week just to make a grand total of nothing, not a dime. Now, luckily for me, the training that they provided was rather exceptional, and one particular concept has continued to stay with me till this very day. A concept so powerful that it has brought me massive success in all areas of my life. The law of averages. Now, to understand this law and what it has to do with you, let me paint a picture of what exactly my job entitled. I sold telecommunication services. Think TV, internet, and home phone. I would spend the majority of my day knocking on doors looking for potential buyers. There were 3 categories of people that I would meet throughout the day. The first was the most common. They were the hard-nosed customers. They loved their current provider. They had no issues with them, and they did not want to hear your pitch. They were the same ones to chase you off their porch with their surprisingly large collection of pit bulls. True story, by the way. Now, only the best of the best salesmen could get them to buy, and even then, the rate of success would be extremely low. These guys made up about 80% of all consumers. Next up were the medium difficulty consumer. They were much less common than the hard consumers, and they made up about 10% of the consumer base. They were indifferent about their provider. They didn't love them. At the same time, they didn't really hate them either. There would always be one or two things that they wish could be improved upon, but for the most part, they weren't really looking to buy. However, they were willing to listen. The best of salesmen could close a decent amount of these guys, while the moderately good salesman could also grab a couple. But if you were new to the game, you'd have a pretty hard time making the sale. And finally, there were the easy consumers. They were extremely rare, but they were straight out buyers. They were already having issues with their providers and were considering on changing but never really got around to it. If you as a salesperson were to find these people, no matter how bad of a salesperson you were, you basically had a sale. All you had to do was not screw up the paperwork, and the chances of finding these was about 1 in 100. Now, the law of averages states that the likelihood of certain events evens out if the frequency is increased, which meant that if I spent an entire day bumping into only hard-nosed consumers, I was not to get discouraged, because if I kept on knocking, I would eventually bump into an easy consumer, and this was very often than not the case. There's even one particular day which I remember extremely vividly. I had just finished training, and I was finally out on the field on my own. I was in this humongous apartment complex with about 15 floors and over 300 doors. I spent 10 hours that day knocking on doors, getting yelled at left and right. In my head, I was thinking, law of averages my ass. It's all about the territory and the price of the product and the weather outside. You know what? I'm gonna prove them wrong. I'm gonna finish knocking on all the doors, and I'm gonna show them that the law of averages is a hoax. And when I got to the very bottom of this 15-floor complex, the last 3 doors, guess what? Were all easy customers back to back. They were practically begging to be switched over. I remember going home that day baffled by the power of the law of averages, and over the years working there, it only became more and more ingrained into my mindset. Now, what does the law of averages have to do with you? You don't do sales. Well, no matter what your goal is, you're gonna bump into a large majority of hard rejections. A couple of indifferent rejections, ones that if you're skilled enough, you can win over. And once in a blue moon, you're gonna bump into some opportunities that are literally just waiting for you to show up at their doorsteps. Whether it be in regards to your dating life, getting a job, or even getting recognition for your creative work, the large majority of people are going to reject you. What you have to keep in mind is, the more times you take action, the more times you get rejected, the closer you are to finding those who are excited to actually work with you. So if you want a girlfriend, you gotta go out there and approach more women. If you want to get a decent job, all you have to do is apply to more places. And if you want to get recognized for whatever creative expression that you tinker in, all you gotta do is keep on creating. Now, don't worry if you bump into a wall of rejections early on, because that's how the game works. You're supposed to get rejected. Life is all a numbers game, and the odds are never going to be in your favor. But if you keep playing, you're going to win. And that, my friend, is the law of averages.
Have you seen that before?
I haven't.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the approach to building a strong utility warehouse business. That's actually the approach to building a strong business, regardless what it is. There's normally more rejection, but it's about fighting through that rejection. So I hope for the folk that are watching, that's helpful, because I've got a sales background. So to me, the law of averages, it was always ingrained in me quite early on. But if you're not from a sales background, you just do need to understand that when you get rejection, that is part of the game. The rejection is you building success, but sometimes folk quit when they start getting rejected rather than putting their hand up and saying, I'm struggling. And that's what, as a team, we want to try and help, that when folk are struggling, they put their hand up. So personal development, Atalya, obviously, again, really important. What kind of personal development, if any, have you been embracing since you joined Utility Warehouse?
What do you mean by that? Sorry.
So, like, what kind of books do you read that are maybe training your mind about, just being better? What kind of videos are you watching? Who in social media do you follow that's maybe an influencer in business? That kind of thing. We all need a bit of guidance.
I haven't actually read any of the books yet. I have heard a lot about them. However, my knowledge and stuff mainly comes from obviously my uplines, as well as the live training videos that you can find on the partner portal. I watch quite a few of them, and so do actually quite a few of my team, and they do help them obviously with the multi-service, how to get people to multi-services, how to recruit, things like that. So I think that they do help quite a bit.
Brilliant. And that leads on to my next question, which was how many trainings per week do you think you and your team are plugging into?
Probably. I mean, last week I went on to 3. It all depends on how busy I am. Like, it's half term this week, so I haven't actually watched any yet because she's driving me insane. But yeah, last week I watched 3. I think I joined into 3. It all depends, obviously, which ones I see and which ones I find. I think I watched most of the ones that you share into the WhatsApp group. So I think that's obviously important to share with your teams as well, because I don't think they'd have watched them if I hadn't have forwarded it to them as well.
Yeah, and that's really interesting. I think that's probably quite interesting for people that are watching, because obviously I'm in Glasgow. You're, forgive me, what area are you in?
Near Derby.
Right. But there's, because from afar, I just look and think, well, everything Atalya does turns to gold. But the more we're talking to you here, we're realising you're actually doing quite a lot of trainings, even though you're smashing things probably without attending these trainings, but you're attending them. And because you're attending them, you're creating that leadership through your team where they're attending them. So they're creating that leadership for their new partners. And that is amazing to hear. But also a wee top tip for everyone. Have a wee think to yourself, how many trainings have you been on this week? I've sat on one and I've delivered one. I'm an SGL, quite a lot, 1,400 partners, 25,000 services, but I'm still attending and doing my own trainings because I know how important it is. So for everyone watching, let that be a lesson that Atalya, not only is she smashing it, she's still doing the do when it comes to, being humble enough to keep on attending trainings, because that's how we learn repeat training. Lead generation. So I've got where/how do you lead gen? You mentioned social media. So what kind of things are you doing on social media?
It's literally mainly my personal profile. So I'll share posts, and it's not all, obviously. People think that when you're using your social media and you're using your Facebook, you're just spamming people with who wants cheaper gas and electric. And that's not what, obviously, it's not what I do. I mainly post about recruitment. I will share a post sometimes about what you can get from the business if you wanted to join. And it's just something, just a little post that will draw someone in, and then I'll send them more info, obviously, if they ask for it.
And do you do that always by a private message, or would you do that publicly on a post?
I do that via private message. So when they comment asking for info, I'll then message them, because it just builds a bit more of a relationship, and they're not just seeing it posted onto a Facebook post that everyone else can see as well.
Yeah.
And on my social media, it's mainly about my personal life as well, but I'll bring UW into it. So it'll be, I can actually go and do this today thanks to UW, because I don't have to go to, obviously I quit my 2 jobs that I did have before I started. And things like that. And people like to see that you are a real person and you're not just trying to get people to sign up to some gas and electric company that they probably haven't heard of. So yeah, I do a lot of personal posts as well.
And do you kind of help and support and train your team to try and duplicate what you're doing?
Yeah, so a lot of my team are social media based as well, but then obviously you do find some people who want to do it differently to what you have, and that's completely fine, because obviously I've got the uplines of Jane and Angela, and they're more face-to-face based.
Yeah.
So I think within the team, you just need to make sure that you've obviously got enough knowledge of all the different things, as well as what you're good at or what you think you're best at, just so that you can help newbies that may want to do face-to-face, or they may want to do it over a video chat or something.
Yeah, I recruited Jane and Angela, so I know that they're not very technical when it comes to social media.
Yeah.
they're on social media, but they're just not good at working these things face to face because they're both very bubbly and talkative. So we always used to do lots of face to face events up in Glasgow. But I actually got Angela through neighbour letters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put a letter through her door. She'd looked at Utility Warehouse. One of her other friends had offered her to do a quote. They'd quoted her. Angela said no because they'd only quoted energy only because Angela wouldn't let them quote the bundle. And when I tapped her door, she said, "Oh, somebody's already priced me up in Utility Warehouse." And I went, "Can I just ask, did they price you up on a bundle or the energy?" And Angela went, "Oh, I only wanted the energy, so that's all they priced me on." And I said, "Right, look, can I be honest? You've been shown Utility Warehouse wrong. Let me show you it properly. I won't waste your time. And if at the end of it, if you don't like it, no harm done, I'll leave. I'll promise you I'll take 20 minutes. But I then presented it to her properly. I showed her the presentation first, the cashback benefits, the benefits of having everything in one bill. And at the end, she signed up there and then. And then it turns out she mentioned that she knew Jane, and Jane was already in my business. So then Jane, although I'd signed her up as a customer, Jane then approached her and got her on board as a partner.
Yeah, I think that's important with especially homeowners to price them as a bundle. And if obviously they at the end they want to take anything off, they can.
Yeah.
And you can show them obviously what happens if they do take that off. But I always approach homeowners first with the full bundle, just because obviously it's what it's meant to be, isn't it?
Exactly. It's the way to present Utility Warehouse. If you're just pricing up people where you haven't shown them because the presentation and the slides, they build the desire. This is a bit of sales training. When you sell cars, you sell the most cars by giving more test drives, because when you're sitting in the car, you envisage ownership, you can smell the leather, you like you feel like owning the vehicle, so that when you then go in and talk money, when it's a lot dearer than you thought it was going to be, because the emotions are up here, you probably spend more. Yeah. Whereas if you're not doing any presenting of the slides, if you're not pricing it as a bundle, if somebody says to you, "I just want energy," and all you quote is energy, you're really not taking advantage of Utility Warehouse. You're working for a lot less than you could earn, because it's a lot more if you sign up a bundle, and the person's not getting the best deal. So it's great to hear that you do that, Atalya. So lead gen, social media, right, last wee bit, because that's 27 minutes, so I don't want to go much more than half an hour. Money-wise, is it okay if I ask you some money questions?
Yeah, go for it.
So I don't need exact numbers. And you've been with us 7 months, and I was looking at your stats. And for those who don't know, every single month Atalya has been in this business, she has recruited more people than she has signed customers. So what I mean by that is, if Atalya did 8 customers for the month, she probably recruited 10 partners. Every month there's slightly more partners than customers, and that is the secret sauce to why you're getting such quick growth. Because you're getting the duplication, because you're always focusing on the partners. But in 7 months, how much would you say you've earned with Utility Warehouse as a kind of overall number?
I think it's around 12,000 at the minute. But obviously some months are much higher than others, depending on what customers I get. So, because my I can never say it, residual income hasn't properly kicked in yet. So
yeah, it's about 12 grand. From working, and how many hours a day would you say you genuinely put into your business?
Some days I don't put any in. Obviously, if I'm busy, that's what I like about UW, that you don't, if you can't, you don't have to, kind of thing. But I with my team, I probably put in maybe 4 hours each day, just broken up throughout the day.
12 grand in the sense that, so you're on track for like 24, 25 grand a year, sitting in the house, working part-time, and being able to do all the nice things in life with your young daughter and everything else. And you've managed to give up 2 jobs as well.
Yeah, and it's buildable. So obviously, the more you're here, the longer you're here, the more you're going to be earning each month. So
yeah, it's quite exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And future-wise, how do you see the future panning out? Where do you think you'll be this time next year?
I'm hoping to be where you are.
But listen, I would love that. I would love that. SGL, certainly, it pays nicely, gives you lots of choices in life. So the next promotion you're aiming for is group leader.
Yeah.
And who's going to be the next promotion within your team?
I think it's going to be Demi Graham, because she's very, very close to STL now, and she's only been here for 3 months herself. So
an absolute machine. She gathered 24 customers last month as well.
Yeah.
And that's consistent. You know, she's doing most months. She's consistently gathering lots of customers. So she's on a mission.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So look, just in finishing off, that's us half an hour. For the folk who've watched this, I can see there's still plenty of folk watching. We really appreciate you tuning in. Please make sure that if you've got team members that they see this. You've got 2 partners on this video, one that's been here 13 years and one that's been here 6 months, both of which building really strong businesses. Utility Warehouse has definitely changed. You know, when I joined Utility Warehouse, we were never the cheapest. Utility Warehouse only started being the cheapest in 2021. For 25 years before that, we were always about £300 a year dearer. But the unique selling point to Utility Warehouse is that when you bundled it all together with your other services and you took a cashback card, it would actually end up working out cheaper. So I think that's probably why it took me a bit longer to build the business than folk can do it in today's world. But it's just amazing that we are now actually the cheapest as well. What kind of top tip would you give to people having a look at this who are maybe struggling?
To not give up with their recruitment. Even if they think that they're not doing well with recruiting, to carry on, because you will find someone who will benefit your team and will go far.
So just hold on to the rope, as Wes Linden would say. He's always going on about you need to keep holding on to the rope, no matter what happens in life. If you just hold on to the rope, because it is quite true. You know, there's been times I've absolutely wanted to smash my fist through my laptop with Utility Warehouse, because you know, not every day is a sunny, rosy, amazing day. You can have challenges in any workplace, challenges in any business, and Utility Warehouse is no different. There are bad times and good times. So look, Atalya, thank you so much for letting us record this. I think this is going to help so many people, you know, in my organisation and your team, and you know, and cross team, because I'm sure there'll be people that are even not in your business or my business that would love to get a bit of feedback on everything that you've got to say. You are an inspiration. I can see somebody's wrote there that you're an inspiration and so fresh. You are an inspiration and really fresh for the whole partner network. Because you're also very humble. I don't know if anyone said that to you before, but you're very, you know, very level-headed. You know, when I was in my early days, if I got success, I was running about flicking folk the Vicky, saying, yeah, look at me, which, you know, is just typical car salesman. It's just the way I always was. But, you know, I think there's a reason why people follow you, Atalya, and it's just, you know, you care about them first, and that's really, really nice to see. So in closing, I'm going to put a comment in. If you've liked this and you felt it's been of benefit, all I would ask is there's a little bit of, let's call it homework. In the comments, I'm going to put a link to a YouTube video. And this YouTube video is an hour long. And when I joined Utility Warehouse, they gave me it in like a CD. And I put it in my car and it played on repeat for roughly 2 years. Just on repeat in my car. Because this 1 hour CD, which I've put the link on YouTube in the comments, is the difference between your mindset keeping strong so that you can deal with the challenges, and your mindset being weak so that when you hit challenges, you fold. It'll also explain team building. It'll explain the ups and downs of the emotions of team building. Now, please, if you do want to be successful in Utility Warehouse, I would ask you to repeat that link I've just put in there as a wee bit of homework. Atalya, thanks a lot. Everyone that's tuned in, thank you so much. If you do watch this on the replay later on tonight, let us know where you're from, or just stick replay in the comments. It really helps rank the post. Other than that, have a lovely day, Atalya. I hope you feel better, because I know you've got a wee cold.
Yeah.
I'll close this off. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.